Hello, beautiful peaches. Welcome to the Macros, Metabolism, and Motivation Beautiful Peach podcast. I'm your host, Caitlen, a reverse diet expert, sustainable fat loss nerd, and food freedom lover. After healing my own mind, body, and metabolism from the icky, restrict, binge, food guilt cycles, I became obsessed with helping other women do the same. I spent 6 years getting my bachelor's and master's degrees in all things nutrition, dietetics, and metabolism health, go Clemson Tigers, in order to start a science-backed, never cookie-cutter, always customized online macro and reverse diet coaching business. I have supported over 3,500 incredible women in their journey to endless results, and I am so excited to help you do the same. In this podcast, I will be teaching you how to break up with the yo-yo diet cycles, tips and tricks to heal your metabolism through reverse dieting. I will be giving away my sustainable weight loss secrets, all without you having to give up a single food you love. So if you're ready to rediscover that self-love and truly become the most confident, beautiful peach possible, grab a pen and a piece of paper, bump up your volume just a little, and let's dive right in. And don't forget to snag your completely free high-protein macro cookbook. All you need to do is submit a quality 5-star rate and review on this podcast, then fill out the form in the show notes so I know exactly where to send your cookbook. This will actually also automatically enter you into the weekly macro calculator giveaway. Every week, I give away a copy of my C. Schmidt macro calculator to one lovely, beautiful peach who has left an awesome 5-star rate and review on this podcast. The winner is announced every single week in my email newsletter email list, as well as my Instagram story. You can't miss it. So leave that 5-star rate and review, and I will see you in the episode.
What is up, my beautiful, beautiful peach? Today, we are going to be talking about how to stay motivated while tracking your macros. And before we go into tracking our macros in that motivation, I think what's really important to note is why we started tracking macros in the first place. Likely because you would like to lose weight, maybe heal your metabolism, maybe heal your relationship with food, maybe build some muscle, have a really awesome body recomp. And there is a strong chance that you have come from a restrictive diet, maybe specifically keto, Octavia, Weight Watchers, something specific, or you were just in a place where you were eating at a lower calorie intake, whether that was you tracking your calories or that was you just eating less food overall. And I think a lot of times what happens when we are in a massive calorie restriction, doing a diet, is we find ourselves having a really hard time keeping up with them. And the reason is because they are genuinely hard to keep up with. I honestly, if I tried to diet right now, it would not happen. I would not do well. I would not be able to sustain it. And I don't feel bad about this because it's not really giving up. It is simply our body saying that it is not happy with what we are doing. Our body has so incredibly many built-in protective mechanisms and protective systems that allow us to know when we are doing something that it does not like. And I don't think a lot of people really realize this at first. I 110% before I did actually have my education and my expertise, I had no idea that my body was sending me all of these signals and saying, hey, Caitlen, I'm really not happy with eating 1,200 calories. Oh wait, Caitlen, I'm really, really not happy that you're going down to 900 calories. And things like binge eating, right? We're promoted, our body is pushing us and promoting us to binge when we are at a restrictive place because it feels like it's not getting enough nutrients. It's not getting enough food. And I'm not going to get too deep into that. I do have past episodes about binge eating and the negative effects that do come from low calorie eating, but the gist of what I want to share here is dieting is not going to be sustainable. So naturally it is hard to keep up with. And so for many, when we do start tracking our macros, right, we're still in the diet mentality. We're still tracking our macros with the mentality of, I don't want to eat certain foods. I want to avoid bad foods. I only want to eat the quote unquote good foods. And they're using, macros as a means of restriction, okay? And I will tell you right here and now, this is going to make tracking macros way, 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 way harder than it needs to be. And I know this because I personally did this when I first started tracking my macros. This was before I healed my metabolism, before I could actually use macros for food freedom and to heal my relationship with food. And just like anything in life, this is, one of my favorite quotes ever: nothing worth having comes easy. That and nothing changes if nothing changes. Both of those can be literally used to anything in life. There's always going to be a learning curve, but if you want it, you go get it. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it, right? And nothing changes if nothing changes. If you're just gonna, I know this firsthand, if I'm just gonna sit around and not do anything, right? Nothing changes if nothing changes. If you want the promotion, you go get uncomfortable, you go work hard for it, you go learn, and you have that learning curve, okay? And I even have examples here, right? You started your first job, or a new job. It doesn't even have to be your first job. And you're like, whoa, big old learning curve here. Maybe you had your first kid and you're like, whoop, this is a lifestyle change, right? Maybe when you moved in with your significant other, there's always going to be learning curves, and your body, your success, macros is going to be the same, but it's a matter of how you navigate those learning curves and how you actually perceive and look at those learning curves, okay? Do you see it as a challenge that you want to accomplish so you can get to that end goal? Or do you see it as something that you want to place blame on? And this is actually gonna sound really harsh. I have it written kind of harshly in my notes, but place blame on it and wimp out because it's just too hard. But I say this because I literally, in a past journal of mine, I have this realization. I love journaling. I have, journals from like 2015. So almost a decade worth of journals. And it's so much fun to see the mental growth, the internal growth that I go through. And my point here is, I think what's really cool is, back when I was starting to track macros, I was placing blame on like everything. I was not taking ownership of the fact that, and I shouldn't even say placing blame or taking ownership. This is what I have written in my journal. But I think something important now, looking back at that, it was more of this not having the realization that it's okay for this to be a learning curve, and not having the realization that it's okay that I'm not getting it right off the bat. And so I'm actually going to walk you through my 3 steps to staying motivated while tracking macros, and really work through how you can kind of change your mentality around macros to help you help them, aka them being the macros, give you the life that you want, give you the body that you dream of, and allow you to, go into the holidays eating the pumpkin spice, drinking the pumpkin spice latte and waking up the next day down in weight, or, waking up the next day saying, dang, I feel good in my body, but you're not stressed about scene changes or weight regain. So without further ado, let's get into episode 144. How do I stay motivated to keep tracking macros? I want to walk through my 3 steps to staying motivated while tracking macros, and we're going to dive right into step number 1, using macros to actually heal your relationship with food, okay? A lot of people start tracking macros because they want to lose weight, they want to heal their metabolism, they want to, see more progress in the gym. But one fundamental foundation that comes out of macros that is so incredibly important if you want to achieve those fat loss goals, those metabolism goals, those strength goals, is actually using your macros and having them heal your relationship with food, okay? And as somebody who, initially used macros as a means of restriction, I actually started to resent macros at first. I felt restricted. I felt trapped. I honestly was like, this is no different from dieting. Why am I doing this? But I also saw these incredible women who I looked at as role models who did track their macros, and they looked amazing. They had confidence. They were loving the food that they were eating. They were eating amazing things, and they could clearly hear and see the diet nonsense and literally just walk away being like, haha, yeah, that's not my world. And so I decided in that moment that it was possible for me to use macros for food freedom. I just needed the action steps to do so. And I just needed to recognize and look at what I was doing then and say, hey, okay, I am cutting out certain foods. I am saying, oh, carbs are bad. I am saying I can't eat quote unquote bad foods. Those things are restrictive. Those things are not different from the diet mentality. And those things are not something that I want to be living a life of 6 months from now, 12 months from now, 10 years from now. And I actually highly suggest like you sit down and write what you want to accomplish in the next 6 months, what you foresee and want your future to be in the next 5 years, and figure out what you're doing now that you don't like, and then write down how you can start changing those, okay? And so for me, it was tracking my macros and actually hitting those macro goals, but really starting to fit in the food that I love on a daily basis, okay? And really working on my diet mentality. So when those thoughts of I can't have, this is bad came up, I would literally intentionally in those moments say, no, I can have these and I will have these and I will fit them into my macros so I know that I can. And because I was consistent with my macros, because I was continuously pushing forward, I saw the progress starting to happen. I was not throwing in the towel. I was giving myself a minimum of 6 weeks starting out hitting my macro goals, those first macro goals ever. And I started to see the progress. I started to feel really absolutely amazing. And I was eating the food that I love, okay? I want to interrupt this oh so lovely podcast episode of mine to let you know that my 6-week program to help you end the start over cycles is officially live. This is the most effective, sustainable, and fun path to ending those gosh darn start over cycles that are caused by the weekends, the social outings, the holidays, and travel. I want you to think, how many times have you painstakingly uttered the words to yourself, I will just start over again on Monday, or even turned down the sushi night with the girls, but finally giving in saying, screw it, I'm just going to restart tomorrow? What about the time, and honestly the mental space, wasted trying to avoid the buffet table at the wedding or even holiday dinner, or saying no to the ice cream cone with your kids in fear of getting off track? If you resonate with the frustration that comes from getting off track leading to those start over cycles, this 6-week challenge is for you. At this point in your weight loss and metabolism health journey, you feel you have earned the right to say yes to happy hour with the girls or that slice of frosted champagne cake at your friend's wedding without those intrusive, oh snap, am I gonna have to work this off in the morning thoughts? Imagine finally being on track with your fat loss, metabolism health, or muscle growth goals in just 6 weeks. Enrollment is only going to be open for 1 week, so make sure to take a little peruse around all the details and enroll via the link down below in my show notes labeled 6-week challenge. Cannot wait to see you inside. And don't forget, if you have any questions, go ahead and send me a message on Instagram. I am always happy to help. And this leads into number 2 here. I am a huge perfectionist. Like I am perfectionist to the max. And I can honestly tell you, I sometimes get caught up in the world where I think I should be able to, and I still do, I still get caught up in this, where I should be able to pick something up right off the bat and be a pro. And my husband and I were actually laughing at this because he's a huge perfectionist as well. And we were kind of laughing. We have to give each other these reminders. And he's a huge tennis fan. So huge tennis fan. I'm learning about tennis through him, slowly but surely. But it's funny because he started to play tennis and he was looking at these people. I don't know if you know tennis at all, but like Nadal, Federer, I think those are the older ones. I don't know if they're retired or not. I can't think of the current like people who were like the best players in the world, but he was looking at these past people and he was like, why can't I be them? Why am I not good, as good as them? And we were really talking about it. And he was like, I just feel like I should be so much better. I was like, hey, your job isn't pro tennis. You are doing more than playing tennis. And also you are a beginner at playing tennis. It is okay not to be perfect. It is okay not to be the pro. It is okay, not to pick something up right off the bat. And it's okay to be a beginner while still recognizing that you are worthy, you are capable, you are, amazing and beautiful and wonderful. And you don't have to be perfect right off the bat. And this goes into, I truly like for so many different things, I have this perfectionist mindset. So it genuinely is a constant reminder to myself, but I work with a lot of clients who are also very much, the perfectionist mindset. And I have to give a lot of my clients, right? I have to give them those gentle reminders of it is okay. This is so much fun. I have, the day that this is going live, I have my 6-week challenge there. It is currently running right now. They are almost done with their 6 weeks. And also the enrollment for the next challenge that will be starting at, I think mid-October it officially starts. Early bird enrollment opens up on, I want to say, I bet you I can tell you. I don't have my calendar up anymore. I cannot tell you. But early October, I want to say the 7th is early bird enrollment, which means you can get $50 off if you are on the wait list. So in order to actually get on the wait list, I will put it down below in the show notes. But you have to literally get on the wait list, put your email on there, because I'm only sending this early bird enrollment to the waitlist ladies via email. Nobody else is going to be able to enroll at this discounted price. But the 6-week challenge is absolutely phenomenal. One of the girls in there, one of the girls literally just said that she is at the lowest weight she has seen in years. She is working off her baby weight and had been in a plateau for a really long time. And what's really cool about this is I intentionally structured this 6-week challenge, this holiday challenge, if you will, so you can be 5 to 10 pounds down or on, your journey to heal your metabolism by the new year. So not only are you able to put on that fun little New Year's dress and feel abso-freaking-lutely amazing in your body, but you can do so while having the freedom in your macros by, sipping on the hot cocoa or the champagne while, enjoying the pumpkin pie with your family. And instead of saying, I can't have that, and then binging it later, you're eating it, you're enjoying it, and you're waking up the next day feeling freaking amazing in your life. And I created this challenge to be that starting point for you. It is incredibly well priced. And also, if you are on the wait list, you actually can see the prices and the wait list price and all that if you just go to the page. Again, it'll always be linked down below in the show notes, or you can just DM me waitlist and I will send you that information. But my point here is one of the clients in this challenge right now, in the challenge that's currently running, her and I, she started off, she was like, I'm a huge perfectionist, and she was getting into her macros. And more recently, she was like, I have never felt more free in tracking my macros, in my food, in, ending the start over cycles as I do now, because she's been able to really take a step back from that perfectionist mindset. And she's not getting caught up in the world where she thinks she should be perfect right off the bat. And what's actually happened is it's helped her actually see more progress, because it's not pushing her into the all or nothing mentality. And it's allowing her to say, hey, progress is not going to be linear, but I'm looking at this as over time, and I'm seeing those changes happen. So she's not getting deferred from seeing this incredible results. Okay. And that's what's so incredibly important, is making sure that you're giving yourself those mental checks of this is not going to be an overnight switch, okay? And the last thing here, this number 3, I think is incredibly important, because I think so many people do feel, especially as we're going into the holidays, this is a very interesting stat, and I think it's staggered year to year, and it's actually trending upward, but the average amount of weight gain during the holidays is 10 pounds. I see the holidays being October, November, December. I think that stat is specifically for December, maybe starting around Thanksgiving, so end of November to December. So for a lot of people, I think it's closer to more weight gained, because we start with Halloween and we have all the fun Halloween candy. We're going to the Halloween parties, taking our kids trick-or-treating if you have little kiddos, or if you're like me, I don't currently have them, but I will hopefully have them one day, but I'm still yes, bring on all the candy, right? Then we go into Thanksgiving. We're having all the Thanksgiving meals, Friendsgiving, Thanksgiving with our family. And then comes all the holiday parties, right? All the fun foods. And so this kind of brings us into number 3. If you don't know how to track your macros in a way that isn't restrictive and in a way that allows you to feel amazing, of going to these holiday parties and being oh, heck yeah, I can have all those things without giving up and without the all or nothing mentality, you're not going to get to where you want to be. And again, this is actually why I do have my 6-week challenge, because I want you to be able to learn to track your macros in those social settings without feeling like it is like the worst thing in the world, because it really, really, really should not feel that way. If anything, it should be giving you more freedom. It should be giving you the excitement to feel free in your body, like the ladies who are currently in this 6-week challenge, right? Seeing more progress happening, hitting the lowest weight you've seen in years, and doing it before New Year's so you can step into this body, step into this new year, step into this next chapter of your life, and going into 2025 being like, heck yes, this is amazing. And instead of looking back and being like, well, shoot, I just missed, a whole entire year and I didn't reach my New Year's resolutions, you're actually hitting those resolutions before the new year, okay? But really leaning into this, one of the most common reasons that I see women getting off track with their macros is because they don't know how to navigate these social settings. And when you think about it, a lot of times we're a lot less busy during the week. So, we have our routine, we go to work, we go home, we go to the gym, take care of our family, not as many social things. And then during the weekend is kind of like the fun time. We're eating out, we're going to parties, we're seeing friends. And if you don't know how to navigate the weekends, you find yourself saying, I can't have something, right? Because a lot of times the social settings are usually around food on the weekends. And we say we can't have something, so we don't go, and we start to lose friends, and we start to lose connections, we start to lose our happiness, and we start to lose our quality of life. Or we say, oh, well, I'll just start over again on Monday. And that doesn't feel good. Neither situation feels good. So when you're able to start learning how to navigate those scenarios, you're learning how to travel, and rather than, leading up to the travel, restricting your food because you're like already anticipating losing or gaining 10 pounds, you can be on track with hitting those weight loss goals without having to restrict before and or after the trip and feeling absolutely amazing. Okay. So when Monday rolls around, you aren't full of guilt and, regret. You are full of happiness and joy, and have, the confidence and knowledge of how to hit your goals, right? How to fuel your body without the restriction, okay? And those 3 pieces, once you have those down, which is funny because I really think out of all of those, number 2 is perfectionist, like working on that mindset. Number 1 was healing your relationship with food. And number 3 is actually hitting your macros in social settings. But number 1 and 2 don't necessarily relate as much to the actual tracking of macros, but it's the mindset around macros. And mindset is so important and so incredibly overlooked. And it is one of those things where if you work on that mindset, it's hard, but it's worth it. So with all of this, I just wish I could squeeze you in person because I love my podcast, and I really, really find so much joy in sharing my knowledge and sharing my education, and it makes my heart happy. So with all of this, I will see you in the next episode. I have some really solid episodes coming up. I am currently batching a few of them today, and I am very, very excited for it. So stay tuned, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye, my beautiful peach.